All right, ladies and gentlemen, assess with me. Look at this tweet and tell me what you think. User Nib95 puts a tweet out here with the Xbox Direct about 9 hours ago and says, I know hashtag Xbox may not have the sales traction anymore with Game Pass sales cannibalization plus dwindled console market share. Okay, these are two huge conclusions that you have hopped to. But let's say we gave it to you. Let's say we say, all right, you know what, take it. Then he says this, but imagine if all these were exclusive. Fantastic lineup for the first half of 2025 plus avowed too. My Game Pass sub is going to get great use. Fire emoji. Now, the crazy thing about this particular tweet is there seems to be an obsession with exclusivity from the PlayStation side. Even from the Xbox side, this also rears its head, so I'm not going to just throw Nib under the bus without pointing out that within the Xbox ranks, some people would like to see the old school exclusivity. In fact, this made some people jump ship from Xbox to PlayStation. This made some people ramp up criticism for Xbox because they're not making games exclusive, so now they get nitpicked by some other people out there. But at the end of the day, this obsession with exclusivity is kind of weird. But here's the thing. Many of these folk miss out the exclusive aspect of the Xbox ecosystem right now. In fact, Nib95, I know for sure, has said that the way he has Game Pass is he's done the gold conversion that people used to do back then and has Game Pass up through 2020 something. But the irony in his tweet chased me down and flagged my attention and said to me, hey, looky here. May not have sales anymore. Imagine if these were exclusive. You see that? Dwindling console market share, blah, 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 and then says my Game Pass sub is going to great use. So you mean to tell me that even though you believe that there may be cannibalization of sales, dwindle console market share, and all this, you still are going to engage with the Xbox ecosystem regardless? Would you not be fulfilling exactly the strategy that Xbox has actually put in place? Even though you did the Game Pass conversion, you are still testaments to the fact that Xbox's strategy is attractive enough for you. If not, don't log in to your Game Pass account, be it on PC or an Xbox console that you may own. But the moment you jump in there, whether it's with a Game Pass trial for 14 days, whether it's with a gold conversion, whether you got the keys, traditionally or from, another key website for less money, however you get into the ecosystem, you are now the Xbox user base. You are an Xbox gamer. You, Nib95, have been redefined into what an Xbox fan is. Satya Nadella's taking out of context words. And I have to say, the fact that many can't see this, that they're basically dancing into the tune instead of just actually leveraging the reality and calling it what it is, there's a underlying DNA strand of exclusive love or posturing, because they say all this stuff, right? Dwindling sales traction, yabba dabba doo. But when Shuhei Yoshida comes out, he's like, excuse you, buy these games, else remaster and buy remaster. And so Gaz goes ahead, tweaks the tweet, and instead removes a whole line. Then he replies and says, you spectacularly missed the core point of the tweet, which is that when Xbox finally has a great cadence and schedule of games, they're mostly multi-platform. What's wrong with that, Nib? What's wrong with the pro-consumer aspect of a multi-platform launch? Can anybody actually help me read it? Can anybody actually help me to figure out what's wrong with that from the consumer perspective? Or do you somehow have any stake in Xbox consoles selling or not selling that you're not telling us about? Microsoft reached out to you. They need your input or your advice to get these consoles sold. And if they don't get sold, the bonus is not going to reach you. Like, What's this whole setup going on here? Do you want Xbox to sell more consoles to prove something to you? Like, how are you and the people who come up with this particular thing the arbiters of what a gaming business should be run like? Because some of the biggest gaming businesses in the world do not sell any hardware. And they're very profitable. Super profitable. So he says this. This is what we've wanted for Xbox for ages, but because of the hole they dug themselves, it's arrived too late. No, this is what you've wanted, but you're not going to get because Xbox doesn't answer to you. Well, number one. Number two, the market doesn't answer to you. Number three, the consumer doesn't answer to you. You don't like Xbox. We know this. You've been propagating lies about the ecosystem in the last few weeks. You were literally the herald of that the information article. So what is it to you if Xbox basically has zero console sales or not? You are fudging, fake concerning yourself, and this is why Doc Dark is on y'all, because you guys are now those PlayStation talking heads that are not painting the picture in a realistic sense for the PlayStation user. That they are getting scarfed by PlayStation, selling them a $700 console. You guys, they're celebrating. These guys are celebrating a $700 console. They're like, oh yeah, we have a $700 PS5 Pro, blah, 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 blah. Not even looking at the reality of how hardware is advancing. We have PSSR. Yo, because people actually go in and pretty much engage with games more than all of these different gimmicks. More people playing a game is a good thing. It's a good thing for the ecosystem. It's a good thing for the consumer. It's a good thing for the developer. I mean, it just works in many ways. The pros outweigh the cons, if you can make up any, because I just don't see where the con is. What? Because somebody even told you and said, okay, if they drop bangers like this consistently, Game Pass sub will increase. You replied and said, I'm not so sure. I think there's a saturation of Game Pass, especially on console, which isn't helped by the install base or console market share dwindling. Though I agree, they could still see decent growth on PC. My dude, growth on PC? That is not something that you want to attract with Game Pass alone. There has to be more value. It's a much harder, it's a much harder obstacle to actually get Game Pass to actually resonate on a place like the PC. Even though it's convincing, I saw one of my hardcore PC audience members say, hey, what's going on here? He looked at this developer direct and he's like, hey, what are you guys doing over here? You know, when someone says, what y'all doing over here? That means, you don't caught their attention. Mr. BDB, he said, let me see if I can find this comment. He said, I just might try Game Pass. Being strictly PC since 2007, I'll do it once Fable drops for sure, and Xbox is making cross-save with Steam as well. Man, the combinations for me as a gamer are endless on PC, that is. Now, y'all need to know Mr. BDB is located within a few miles from a Micro Center physically. So if you're a PC gamer and you got a Micro Center by you, you truly are a PC gamer. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Many of us were PC gamer proxies because we have to order our stuff online. But if you got a Micro Center, man, it's different. And he's talking about Game Pass. I've told y'all before that PC gamers look at value in a very different light. We're literally sitting here today counting frames and percentages on the 50 series, and we're not impressed. Like, literally, NVIDIA dropped a $2,000, GPU, and we're like, not impressed. It's not like the people who are looking at it don't have the money. It's not the money that's their problem. It's the value for their money. They can easily spend the $2,000. Many of them are nerds. They basically run your IT companies. So they get paid well. But they're looking at it going, I'm not giving NVIDIA $2,000 for a 30%, 25% performance raster boost for, additional frame gen. I'm not interested. Some are like, I just want to have it because I want to see what it's about. I want to nerd out on it. Sure, fine. But the value proposition is how the PC gamer approaches their gaming first. And the way Game Pass is positioning itself has always had that value proposition in front of everything. Some console gamers seem to be vehemently against it. However, you got to realize that this stuff, what's called, the add up phenomenon, where stuff starts to add up more. Well, I guess, your wallet can only take so much unless you're Elon Musk, where you can buy and boost whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're him, then you don't have an unlimited number of, dollars for you to buy these games. So Game Pass is absolutely positioned in that particular place. And so this talk about exclusivity, someone's got to pay for it. If Game Pass is going to maintain its value proposition, there has to be someone paying for it. And that's the PlayStation player and the Steam player. They have to bring in the sales enough for the Xbox player or Xbox ecosystem proxy PC user using Game Pass to be able to enjoy the benefit. This, to me, I don't see where we're going to now have to fight over a strategy that actually is working. It's working. It's absolutely working. Everyone is now talking like, okay, this looks like it's serious from other places. You have to extract the console war DNA strands that's been transcribed into your bloodstream to get this message through your thick skull. The market has changed. It doesn't care. All this talk about exclusivity, no one on the Xbox side, and I think this is probably what the fear is. I told y'all this morning that these Xbox games are going to start hitting, and no one's going to care about your exclusives on PlayStation. And I'm going to now talk about this particular point, and we're going to start backing it up with a little bit more heat. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.